guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing a quick video on how to change the gear oil. I have the ARB diff covers on both the rear and the front axles, and I've noticed that there's some oil leaking already from there. So thought I change that oil and do a quick video in the process. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Yeah, so as you can see, this is the rear one. There's some leaking happening around. Not exactly sure why this is happening, but it's time for me to change the gear oil anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up, clean it, and change the oil, and then I will change it in the front one as well. Let's get started. I'm changing both rear and front, but the rear is pretty bad, as you can see, so I'm going to start off with this one. This is the drain hole, so let it drain, and then after that I'll open all these ones. This is, by the way, 7 mil. I think it's called hex. Yeah, so 7 mil for the drain hole, and I think 6 for those other ones. It's very strong magnet on this thing. It looks pretty bad. So one of the things people do is that they would measure with the dipstick, so they can put the same amount. I'm not measuring it. As you can see, it's leaking already, and it's been leaking for weeks now. I've been lazy to change, so I know whatever measurement I'm gonna get from it is not gonna be the right one. I'm just gonna go with 2.37 as the user manual calls for. Maybe a little less because of the ARB diff cover for the rear axle. So right away I know what my problem is. All these bolts are very loose. I mean, there's no torque in them. You see, it's very loose. What I should have done is tighten these up, check them. So please check this area, check these bolts, make sure they're. Now I have this changed about a year ago with a Jeep shop, so I never felt the need for. You see this? You see this is the first time I'm opening them. So this is my problem. I thought I have a bigger problem, but you hear every single bolt is basically loose. Now this must have happened over time, because the leak happened about a few weeks ago. Yeah, you see? There's no torque in them. So this is why I think it's leaking, but for me, I'm gonna change the gear oil anyways. For those of you following my channel, I did change the oil when I did the change the gear ratio and change the diff covers. So okay. All right, so the diff cover went inside the bucket, which is fine. I'm just gonna make sure I clean it up with a spray. Good thing is I don't see a lot of metal shavings, so that's good. I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this up, and then clean the cover. Right, so I cleaned inside and outside basically with brake cleaner. Um, this is the gasket I'm going to be using. I cleaned the bolts. Everything is ready to go. Also, when you're opening up, just so you know, some of them are small, but you would know, where there's an indentation, these ones are big. 4 of them are longer, and the other 6 are smaller ones. You would know. You don't want the longer bolt to go into the smaller area. I wish I would have done this before, so don't be like me. Please keep checking. If there's any leak, there's a reason for it. It's leaking. In my case, the screws were all backed out, the bolts. So I'm not sure why though. But yes, that was the reason. None of them were like torqued, so it's gonna be a small leak. This is the oil I'm using, 80W-90. Now keep in mind, I have a Rubicon Hard Rock Edition at Dana 44. I used the manual calls for 2.37 quarts in the rear, and that's what I went with. A little slippage, but that's what I went with. Usually, depending on who you listen to, you're supposed to put a little bit less if you're using the diff covers from ARB. But the most important thing is, if you're towing with your vehicle, you may need a different viscosity of this oil. So check your manual. I'm not towing anything, so I went with 2.37 quarts for the rear. That looks pretty good. Cleaned it up. I'm gonna check it, make sure there's no leaks, and then I will do the same exact thing on the back. Now this, if you take it to the dealership, is going to, they're going to charge you $200-300, but by just draining. So here, it took me half an hour, 1 hour with the filming and everything, but I cleaned it up, changed the seal, and I love it.